Welcome to the Dating Kinky Podcast, a cast about love, sex, romance, and kink. Today, I'm going to discuss a touchy subject, maybe a smelly subject. And I'm going to talk about how humans are more animal than many of us like to acknowledge, even those into kink and primal play and, well, whatever it is that we're into. Do you sniff your hand after you shake hands? Are you sure? Nearly 3 decades ago, I ran across this weird book in the discount section of a Borders books that was all about biohacks before the language of biohacking was a part of our cultural zeitgeist. I learned some really interesting things. One thing I learned was that most people sleep in 90-minute cycles and that creating a constant sleep schedule is healthy. I haven't used an alarm clock since. I sleep 6 hours a night, and I've never had real sleep issues of any sort. I also learned about oil washing facial skin, and I've been doing that since. I learned about coconut oil long before that was a huge thing for everyone. I learned about no poo. And I learned a bit about the body and scent and how to live inside the meat sack I've been given. And now I rarely use soaps to wash my body. I don't use antiperspirants, don't even own any, and I'm very careful about perfumes and colognes. No one who spends much time with me notices any body odor. I don't have much. And I can tell when my own scent changes through my cycles and if I'm feeling a bit unwell. And recently on FetLife in some comments, a short discussion about how important scent is to attraction came up. And not long after, I ran across this article about how humans rely more on scent than we think. 2 scientists secretly videotaped people after they shook the hand of someone new, someone they had just met for the first time. Here's their delicious discovery. A few seconds after the handshake, the experimental subjects would inevitably sniff their own hands to gain some odorous information about the new person. When we showed them the video, many of the subjects were completely shocked and disbelieving, Fruman said. Some thought we'd doctored the videos, not that we had the computing power or the expertise to do so. When the new individual was of the same gender, in this and many other studies on odor signaling in humans, scientists have primarily focused on heterosexual individuals, and they've not included research subjects who are trans or non-binary or mentioned if they have. The subjects sniffed their own shaking hand twice as much as before. In contrast, after handshakes across different genders, subjects more than doubled the amount of sniffing they did of their own non-shaking hand. Wow. I never thought I did that, but I'm guessing I do. Even though if I knew I did and I caught myself doing it, I'd feel really awk. Because that's just weird. And yet, it makes sense. And my partner and I are both into each other's scent and natural, clean, healthy body smell and so on. In fact, I've really liked people whose scent I couldn't stand, and it's driven us apart, which is also weird for me to say, but there it is. There's more. Klaus Wedekind in 1995 showed that women can sniff out a genetically compatible mate, or at least mates with compatible immune systems. Female test subjects were asked to rate the attractiveness of odors emanating from t-shirts worn for 2 days by anonymous men. Meanwhile, blood samples were taken from everyone for an analysis of their DNA, specifically of a set of immune system genes called the Major Histocompatibility Complex, the MHC. These genes are involved in helping immune cells learn to recognize pathogenic foreign invaders. As it turns out, women preferred the odor of men whose MHC genes were different enough that any shared offspring would likely have healthy immune systems. Cool, huh? But there's more. Then there is the Russian smell-o-vision dating. The Tinder of the schnoz. You arrive clean to a dating event and re-clean certain areas of your body with wipes. Then you work up a sweat and wipe your chest and armpits with cotton pads that go into individual numbered glass jars. Then people sniff samples, like swiping with your nose. And if there's a mutual sniff love, you are matched for connecting. Which, when it comes down to it, is probably not any sillier than picking people based on a mutual love of baby goats in sweaters or of horror punk. What are your thoughts? Do you think you sniff your hand after greeting others? And regardless of the answer to that question, so weird to think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely necessary, how important is scent to your personal life? That your partner smell good to you? Thank you for joining me today. If you loved this episode, please share it with others who would enjoy it. And please do join me at datingkinky.com. It's built by Kinksters, for Kinksters, poly, queer, trans folk, and anyone not quite vanilla, and it's free. Find me on FetLife as Nookie Notes, and on Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, and Medium as Dating Kinky. We're on Instagram as Dating Kinky Official, all one word. Have a kinky day, and I'll catch you next episode.